It is an empty property. But if I look on the website, I'll be able to confirm. I'm not sure whether it's land or there's some property there. For 850 Salaji, there was no bid, but somebody made an offer and it was sold.
Was it an empty plot?
This must be an empty plot. Sinchu Alaji Garden. The property was included in the approved list for sale. It was advertised. We had 4 bidders, and eventually it was sold to the highest bidder at 2.2. Sinchu Alaji Paradise Estate, number 14. There are no bidders. Soma, the guide price was 15 million. There are no bids, but receiver, we had got instruction from the MOJ to return it back to the government.
Okay. Let us stop in Soma. That complex has had tenants. Were you receiving, were they paying rent?
They were paying rents, yes.
Okay. All the tenants?
Yes, all the tenants were paying rents.
Did you ever have difficulties with any of the tenants in receiving rent?
Some of them, the thing was they were paying late, but not in terms of not paying.
Okay.
But we were collecting rents.
For how long was that property in your custody, and you were collecting rent before you received instructions to hand it over to the Ministry of Justice?
I cannot say offhand, but I can look and I will let you know.
Mr. Barry, when did you first have, when was the complex first put in your custody?
So this is phase 3. I will need to look at when we received the letter from MOJ.
Okay. And when you received instructions from MOJ to take control of that property, did you find any of the tenants having outstanding rent payments?
I cannot recall.
So when you received instructions to take over the property, you started collecting rent from that day?
I would presume so.
I want a definitive answer, Mr. Barry.
Okay, so let me look at what transpired. So probably I'll get back to you before we finish this session today on the Soma property.
Okay, then let's move on from Soma. We will come back to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So number 16, Yundum Jabang Strip. There were no bids for this property. Bara, there were no bids also for this property, and it's returned to government. Now we have Chloro A, B, and C. They were all there were no bids, and they were returned to government.
Okay. So from 17 to
21.
To 21, they were all returned to the government?
Yes.
Were they returned because bids were not received, or were they returned under instructions of the AG?
I believe they were returned on instructions of from the AG, but I believe that also some of them, like Chloro, I think it's probably the community asking for it because it's where I think they were mining stones there.
Okay. And then number 22?
22 was sold. Liberation Avenue, 34 Liberation Avenue. This is opposite the ferry terminal.
Who was it? It was sold to?
To Fanta Toure.
Fanta Toure being the
sole bidder.
Yes, but was the Fanta Toure that bought property in phase 1?
Yes.
Or somebody bought and then asked for it to be transferred to Fanta?
It's really a family. Okay. I think there's a brother and sister.
Is that the same situation in Beaufort?
I believe so, yes.
A brother and a sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Apart from Soma, there were other properties that you was also placed in your custody and control to be collecting rent. Is that correct?
Yes.
Which ones are they? Where are they located?
So, so there was a retail complex at Traffic Light and the Future Lake Building.
Okay.
And retail complex at Kairaba Avenue.
Is that different from the one at Kairaba Avenue Traffic Lights? Yeah.
So there's 60. You remember, Alliance Française?
Yes.
Opposite Alliance Française. Now there is a
petrol station.
It was sold at 441.75.
Yes.
So before that, there were some shops there.
Yes. So you were collecting rent from those shops?
Yes, we were collecting rent.
For how long?
Until
before it was sold?
Yeah.
What was the duration between the time it was put in your custody and control and the time it was sold?
It's the rental income. They are all analyzed to show when and who. Yeah. So the other.
Well, offhand, you don't know how long you were collecting rent before it was sold?
No.
When the property was first put in your custody and control, were you told that it was going to be sold, but for the time being, collect rent from these shops, or were your instructions that just collect rent and then you received?
No, they were
an offer.
They were to be sold.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the interim, there were tenants there, so we were collecting rent as well.
Okay. And apart from, please continue, you mentioned Future Lake as well?
Yeah, it was Future Lake retail complex opposite Traffic Light, which is the building, yeah, close to the Traffic Light, and then there is 16 Kairaba Avenue and retail complex at Soma. In terms of rent, in terms of lease, it will be Sindola, the hotel.
Okay. And are you still receiving payments for Sindola?
Yes. And the retail complex at Traffic Light.
So the retail complex at Traffic Lights and Sindola are the only ones now that rent is being received?
Yes, because the one at Traffic Lights is in the courts.
Okay.
There's a dispute in terms of ownership.
However, no disputes for Sindola. Are you receiving the payments annually or is it done quarterly?
Annually. The rent is annually.
Okay.
And yeah, it's annually.
There were litigation issues that arose in Banjo when it came to sale. Did you face such issues again, apart from, of course, the property in Kairaba Avenue Traffic Lights? Are you involved as a
Yes.
receiver, as
Yeah.
a party in that suit?
Which one?
Caraba Avenue traffic lights. Is the receiver
Yes.
a party to
Yes,
the
the
suit?
receiver is a party, yes.
So did the suit commence after you received
No,
you?
before.
All right. Mhm. Apart from Caraba Avenue, are there any properties that attracted suits? Caraba Avenue, Future Elect, maybe?
Future, like, yes.
Apart from those two, no other lawsuits.
No, I think it was Banjul. For there is for the Kairaba Avenue, there is another property. It's called Trans-Sahara property, but it's a property that has never been handed, handed over to the receiver.
On Caraba Avenue.
Yeah. So the lawyer is going to court for those two properties, but it's only one that is with the receiver. So I don't know who the other party is.
Okay, so these are the only ones that litigation is ongoing.
Yes. Future like and traffic light.
You were a party to the Future Elect suit.
Yes.
But you are not a party anymore, are you?
I think it's still going on.
Okay, but it's no longer in your control.
Future like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I guess the
No, I mean you as a party. Are you a party to the suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the original owners.
They're trying to get it back.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have the information for Soma now?
Not yet. I've sent. I'm sure I'll get it before we finish today.
Because Mr. regarding the Soma complex, but also the Soma complex, but also Future Like. But since you said you needed more time for Soma, perhaps let's discuss the sale of Future Like. Was it open to bids, the bidding process like other properties, or did for Future Like did you just receive instructions?
Yeah, we received instruction to sell it to the central bank.
That's it. Did you do a valuation of the property?
Of Future like.
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
There was a valuation.
The evaluation was done on Future like.
When was Future mentioned that Future Like was sold, but in the phase, it does not say in which phase it was sold.
I can get you the dates that when we received the instructions.
25th August 2021.
Okay, then that would be phase 3.
So Future Like was sold in your submission in 2021. However, in your submissions, you did not include details about the sale process. For example, the letter from the AG instructing you to sell the property to Central Bank.
No, we did. If you look at page 34 of the report,
Okay.
we've said the future like building. The second paragraph, the Attorney General had written to the owner through their lawyers to pay the balance within 1 month. They were unable to honor the payment within the stipulated period and since written to the AG seeking an extension. The property was sold to the central bank for 100 million as directed by the AG.
Who paid the legal fees here?
So far, it's the receiver.
The legal fee.
Yes.
It was sold for 100 million and is it
250.
250?
Yeah. Can I go back to the summer?
Yes, but let's talk artificial like a little bit. Were they given transfers, a deed?
Yes.
They were.
Central bank, yes.
Was it prepared by the second council or the first council?
Second.
The second council prepared.
Yeah, Mr. Jammeh prepared it.
Okay. Please continue what you were saying about Soma.
Soma, yeah. There's a letter. The letter it's addressed to me, and it's dated 25th of August 2021. And it's saying letter of conveyance of instructions to hand over the following properties. Soma Shopping Complex to Ministry for Lands and Regional Governance, and to Busumbala Poultry Farm to Ministry of Agriculture. The subject matter refers, I am directed to convey the decision of the Ministerial Task Force Committee in charge of the implementation of the advanced findings of the Commission of Inquiry. During the committee meeting held on the 5th day of August 2021, and after due consultation, the committee have unanimously agreed to formally convey the task force approval for the transfer of the above stated properties to the respective ministries stated above. Based on the above, you are advised to liaise with the ministries concerned for the purpose of handing over and taking over the respective properties from the Office of the Attorney General. I believe these are some of the documents that we shared before with the investigating team.
How many tenants did you have in Soma? You don't know?
Yeah, you're testing my memory. I don't want to guess. Probably around 12.
About 12.
Yeah, these are small shops, and then there was Reliance. I think Reliance was the biggest.
Reliance occupied the biggest shop.
Yeah.
But however, all tenants paid their rent.
Yes.
At all times.
At all times, and they were paying to, I believe they are. I think there were some arrangements whereby they would pay into Reliance and Reliance would forward it. But I need to look at the mechanism that was in place.
So they were paying into Reliance accounts, and then Reliance would forward it to.
Yeah, but the rents were
Central Bank.
No, to EcoBank.
Okay.
But the rents were not substantial.
They were not.
No.
Mm. But however, up to the point you were told that MOJ to hand over the property back to Ministry of Justice, you were collecting rent from everybody.
Yes.
All right. But was it ever difficult to get the rent? Perhaps delays, there were delays to the point you had to write letters?
No, tenants, in fact, they had to be evicted at some point.
They did not pay
Yeah,
the rent.
they were not paying.
Very well. On the first day you appeared, or perhaps the second day, we did talk about the accounts in which the proceeds of sale and the rent were being paid into. The Echo Bank account, and then which is the Dallas account, and the Mega Bank account for the dollar. And at some point, I did ask you, were you ever questioned, or did you ever receive written requests, perhaps maybe from the Auditor General, regarding these accounts? I think you started to provide an answer, but I told you that is the last thing I want us to talk about.
Yes.
Please talk about the auditing issues.
So we work very closely with the Office of the Auditor General.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, they would ask questions, and the questions would be directed to the Accountant General.
The Accountant General?
The Accountant
okay.
General. And
what sort of questions were these?
Probably there will be queries.
Okay.
Or asking for information. And then the Accountant General will now ask the Office of the Attorney General.
Please continue.
And then they would, at the Office of the Attorney General, will now get in touch with us. So there was a lot of, as you say, loss in translation. In between, by the time it comes from out of the Office of the National Audit Office to getting to us. So I think there was, at some point, there was some query at the National Assembly. And we sat around and we discussed what the issues were, and it was sorted out. But then during discussions with them, I detected that there was some lack of understanding of what my role was.
Okay.
So I took it upon myself to meet with the Auditor General, or the then Auditor General. And I told him, look, I am the one responsible for this receivership. Why don't I work with your...
Let me just stop you for a quick question.
Look, why don't we work directly with your staff so that we explain to them the process of what we are doing, so that it makes it easier to audit. So from that time, we would work directly with them, and if they have any queries, they would ask us. And even to this day, we work with them very closely, including giving them the bank statements. They have access to all the bank statements, and they ask questions. They do their own analysis. So the confusion was, they always thought that I was responsible for the sale of the cattle and also for the sale of the vehicles and the tractors.
That is what the Auditor General
thought.
Okay.
That was their... So if I explain, then they will say, but what happened to the cattle? And I keep on telling them, I was not responsible for the cattle. I was not responsible. It was done by, I believe, some other... But eventually they started to understand what my role was, what my responsibilities were. And yes, we are working very closely, so they have all the information. And I believe even some of them are part of your team behind.
Sorry?
Some of the staff are part of your investigative team.
Okay. And was there any point in time where you had meetings with the Auditor General or his personnel at the Ministry of Justice?
Yes.
How many times?
I believe I can remember maybe twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the issues? Was it still in regards to the sale of the confusion about the different types of assets that were being sold?
You know, when they do their audit, they come up they prepare what you call management letter as to their observations of certain issues or their problems in resolving certain issues. And then the auditee is given the opportunity to respond. So they identify certain areas, and then we show them that some of those areas had nothing to do with us. But the areas that we were responsible for, we provided answers, and I believe they were satisfied with those answers. So they were like queries.
Okay, no problem. But you first said that initially the Auditor General would direct the question passing through the Accountant General.
Yeah, because the monies were being paid into the
commissions account, the recovery account.
Yeah, start there. And then they all from the Accountant General office, they would now raise it up with the Attorney General's office, and then they will now come to us.
Okay.
Yeah. But mainly it was some confusion about which assets we were responsible for.
Okay, so that was the bone of contention.
That was when it was explained, I think then they understood.
Okay.
Yeah. So now what we are focusing on is on the asset that I was responsible for.
Okay.
So I mean, they would ask tender document count, etc. Where are the transfers? And there's a 50 million that was paid to the TRRC also to see where did we get the authorization. So issues like that. Yes.
With the authority of where did you get the authority?
Office of the Attorney General.
The Attorney General wrote to you.
Yes.
You have that letter?
Yes, I shared it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
And said that pay this amount to the TRRC.
To the victims, victims
account.
Yeah, I believe the request came from the chair of the TRRC to the Attorney General and then to us, to authorizing us to transfer.
And to the best of your knowledge, do you know for this particular transaction whether the Accountant General was aware of the transfer being made from your accounts to the TRRC's accounts?
There is no, for me, there is no evidence. Okay. I don't have any. It wasn't copied to that office.
Okay. All right, very well. Honorable Chair, this is all the questions I have for the witness for now. So I'm handing over to the committee.
Thank you, Council. Quickly, I think we will also have to, if there is any question from the high table, from anyone? Do you have any? First, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry, my first question is about number 78A. During your tender process, someone offered 2.9. You are two bidders.
Yeah.
But if you look at the sales price, it's like you sold it at 5.5. What was the problem? Where were there other open tender? You opened some tenders again or what?
No. When we did the tender, we were asked to wait, because for 72B, the owner had requested, had written to the ministry for the property to be returned back to them. So during that process of returning back the property, we had somebody who was interested in 78A and 78B. So the same person that paid for 78B paid for 78A, and that's why we were able to push the price to 5.5. But it is an empty plot.
But the one who first bid for 2.9,
yeah,
was he the same person who bid for 5.5?
No, it wasn't. You know, you are not obliged to take the highest or the lowest bidder.
No, I'm just asking because I'm about tenders where I'm asking. And the other thing when it comes to your reserve price,
The guide price.
The guide price or the reserve price. Let me. The time you call it the reserve price. Your guide price that you use. Do you normally paste it when you're advertising? Do you normally make it open?
Yes, it was very transparent. In the website, even if you look at the website now, you will see in the properties that are advertised, you will see the guide price there.
That's where my problem is. If you put that price on your advertisement, you're not going to restrict others to offer more than what you have shown out.
No, you can see the results. For example, if we take Kololi Junction, the guide price was 40 million. The sale price was 50 million.
But if at all there was no guide price, we would have different offers more than that.
No, I doubt it.
Because if you look at the other prices, some will offer 500 on top of the guide price, and then they are giving the offer.
That's why we have the guide price is an indication of the price. So if you get 10%, 10% below, 10% above, I think you are fine.
If the guide price was hidden, then for me you would have got more offers than what, because the moment you value the property, people do go and inspect, and when they inspect, they can give offers more than what you have given out.
And that is what has happened in most. That's why we talked about Banjul being 46% higher, and phase 2 being 4%, and phase 3 I think 9%.
And then Mr. Barry, when it comes to a single bidder, do you normally sell the property, or do you wait for other bidders to interest bidder when they disclose?
Usually they don't know it's a single bidder.
No, when it comes to you,
yes.
When it comes to, if you look the opening, you have only one bidder who bidded for an amount. Do you normally proceed with the selling, or do you normally wait for?
If the offer is reasonable, if it is close to the guide price, we tend to accept it.
However, if it is below the guide price?
If it is below the guide price, we encourage you to meet the guide price, which is what happened in number 16 Kairaba Avenue. So I believe he offered 41.3 and the guide price was 41.75. So we encouraged him to come to 41.75 and he agreed.
You call him for negotiation and he agreed?
Yeah.
Was that the only time that one happened, or it happened in several occasions?
So several occasions.
And what do you normally do?
So if you express interest and you make an offer and it's close to the guide price, so we just call you and say, look, can you come to the guide price? And most of the time, for example, the ones that I've mentioned in phase 3, where there were no bidders and some people came afterwards after seeing on the website.
And on coming to the same page, I've seen guide price and also market value. What's the difference?
It's the market value that we take and then we name it as guide price, because as we say, value, it depends on willing buyer, willing seller, and where you agree.
But there are certain instances where you have the guide price at 15, for example, 15 million, the market value at 15.8. Let's give you an example where you say guide price 7 million and then market value at 6 million. There's a difference of 1 million. So can you help me and enlighten me on those things?
I guess what we are trying to say.
This was your summary on your own.
So what we are trying to say that is a range. So if you have an offer between this amount, it's reasonable to accept the offer.
So if I told you your guide price was 7 million and I offered 6.2, will you accept the 6.2?
It depends on a lot of things, but if you are the sole bidder, we will negotiate with you for you to come up. And if you, the tendencies you would go up.
But if I insist on my price, what will you do?
If the gap is too big, we will leave it on the website. But the tendency is really, we've agreed with most of the people that have come directly.
So you normally agree with the individual when you invite them on a discussion?
Yes. Because if they take the step of, putting a bid they would have had interest in the property. So a difference of 5–10% usually doesn't become a deal breaker.
Mr. Barry, on phase 3, as in your list, people were paying, they were making part payments.
Yes.
At what level are those payments now? Did they complete their payment, or they are still compounded and not paid? All properties are not paid?
All properties have been paid for except Royal Atlantic.
Except?
Royal Atlantic.
Royal Atlantic. What's the problem?
They have an agreement with the Minister of Justice. But I believe, from the correspondence I've got, I believe the ball now is in the government's court, because the agreement is they need to pay 75%, and then the government will issue them a lease.
We issue them lease.
Yeah.
Mr. Barry, the issue of Lamin Cisse transferring to Binta Cisse.
Yes.
I want to explain did that transfer happen. Was there any transfer between Lamin and then government, or you made a direct transfer to Binta?
No. We started to do the transaction in Lamin Cisse's name, and then he said for us to transfer it into Binta.
Well, was there any written document from Lamin?
Yes, there was. I think the council asked for it. I think she wants it by Wednesday.
That you saw me. Yes, I mean, thank you very much, Mr. Barry.
Thank you, Honorable Sir.
Yes, I mean, on the same Binta and Lamin, Mr. Barry.
Yes.
Who made the payment? Was it Lamin or Binta?
I don't know, because it was paid directly into our bank account.
It was paid directly into your bank account.
Yes.
But Mr. If it was paid into your bank account, the transfer money is very clear from who to who.
Not necessarily. If it is
The one who is depositing.
We can look at the deposit and see who paid. But it doesn't necessarily, because you can ask your.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, you're in the.
I understand, in the field. But
Yeah.
was it? I mean, an internal transfer, or was it a bank-to-bank transfer? Because it's a bank-to-bank transfer. If I told you go with cash, it's going to be. It might be in that form. But if you transfer from your own account, it's clear indicates from where it comes from.
Yeah, we can look at the payments, how they came in and who paid. If it is cash or internal transfer or interbank transfer.
Yeah, but I thought there was no deposit. There was no cash deposit, but interbank transfer. Then that one we would have known from where it comes from and then who did the payment. Yeah, I think it's okay.
All right, thank you, Honorable. So, but Mr. Barry, just for an extension, that same property. Now, whose name is in the property?
The transfer hasn't completed yet.
How many years ago?
What I'm seeing here now, it's the sale agreement. The sale agreement does have the name of Lamin.
Lamin.
And but it wasn't signed. This is the draft, and I think it's at this point that he asked that it be transferred to Binta, and then we asked for a notarized letter. That's what the lawyer asked for, and he sent that, and that's what the council is requesting to see.
Okay, but what is important? The entire money was paid for the property, yeah?
Yes. If the money is not paid, we will not take the next step of transferring.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And you can see the payments into the bank account.
Okay, that's fine.
Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry, when it comes to this land valuation, how many valuers did you have?
I just appointed Mr. Jones, and we just stayed with him.
You say Mr. Jones, that's Francis.
Yes, Francis, Mr. Francis.
Yeah, that is good.
I guess everybody knows. I mean, he's well known. Yes, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Barry, I just have one question. When did Lamin make this request for the transfer to be done in Binta's name?
Okay, I mean, your timing is perfect. I'm just able to see the correspondence from him. It says here 5th of October 2021. Sorry, that's the wrong email. Not that one, sorry. Let me just check. He sent it 22nd. It says 2022-0203.
Can you repeat? Sorry, Mr. Barry, can you repeat?
Yeah, it's signed 02/05/2022.
02/05/2022.
So what I'll do, I will just send it to the team, and they'll print it.
What is signed on that day? That's what I want to know.
What is
my question?
The content.
My question was when did Lamin request for the transfer of ownership to Binta?
02/05/2022.
When were the bids open for this particular property?
For, I believe, it's start of December.
December
2021.
Let's say December 2021.
Yeah.
When was payment effected for this particular property?
I need to check.
That's very important.
I need to check, and I will let you know.
But that's the final piece to the question I want to ask. Now we know when Lamin transferred the property to Binta. We know when the bid was opened. The only missing link is when payment was made.
Yeah, okay.
So that we can know. Is there any possibility that we can know that now? No, it's not there.
Probably if you give me half an hour, I can get them to check and get back to me.
By that time, you'll be done for the day.
That will really be a surprise.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Barrier.
Okay, so I'm going to send it now. So your Wednesday deadline?
Needed by the committee. So we will get that. I mean, you said 30 minutes, so.
I can certainly be today.
Yes.
Mr. Barry.
The one that is just requested.
So let's say tomorrow, by tomorrow.
You're
so that I
pushing
don't.
the 30 minutes.
No, so that I do not stop us from.
Can I make a point, Mr. Barry? The main reason I'm interested, or we are interested in knowing when was payment done, is to determine who actually did the payment.
So you want to know who made the payment?
No,
and the
it's
dates?
not from your point. Not from your point.
How would I? I would say Binta Sise of Bakau.
Binta Sise of Bakau.
Yeah,
Is there any way that you can make the identity clearer to this committee?
Can you guide me, please?
If I had known, I wouldn't ask the question. You'll have a lot in the forest.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of Binta Sises in Bakau. That's why we are asking for much clarity here. Was there any previous place that she used to work where she's well known or something?
Yes, I mean, I heard in the testimony, well, my Honorable Jammeh saying that I worked in Standard Chartered Bank as chair together with Binta Sise.
No, Mr. Barry, that's not the response.
No,
No. That is what I don't want. I want him to probably respond directly to the question. Do you know where he worked before?
yes.
Just to describe. Yeah, please.
So he used to work for Standard Chartered Bank, yes.
Standard Chartered Bank. Which year was that?
It was in the 2000s.
His latest, do you know his latest trade? His
The
last employer?
last employer, no, I think
Her last employer.
I
rather.
think it was the last employment. I believe is Standard Chartered.
Which means this Binta Sise is very clear in your mind. Where is she now?
I don't think so. I think she's traveled.
She traveled
Yeah.
outside the country. Which means at any moment in time you can tell us who this Binta Sise is. Do you know Lamin Sise?
I know of him.
You know of him.
Yes.
What is his trade?
What is?
What is his trade? What does he do for a living?
He lives in Canada.
He lives in Canada.
I know
Okay.
he's into tech.
He will be able to establish the identity of these two witnesses.
Quickly do that before Honorable will take.
Yes, Mr. Barry. On the judicial sales, I think, can you please tell us the current situation of those properties that we are giving out?
They've all been given back to the original owners.
But did they pay or
Yes.
they are still there?
That's why you have the amounts there.
But I'm seeing balance on the Busumbala property, Busumbala poultry.
No, that was returned back to government.
They
Returned.
return back to agriculture. Okay. And then in Carabao, when you also, the asset of Fal Job, the one also is still got,
Idu Wage.
it's also sold to a different buyer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honorable Jammeh?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Barry. I just want to seek for few clarities on future leg. And if I may ask, who actually paid for the legal fees for future leg building? Just for clarity, because I heard you responding to the council earlier.
Yes. So if you see the price, it says 100 million, 200.
The receiver.
Yes.
Who was the lawyer?
Who was the lawyer for the other party?
Yes.
Assis Bensouda.
Assis Bensouda.
So it's in the report that I.
Yeah, I just for confirmation purpose.
Okay.
Assis Bensouda.
Yes.
And do you know the chambers that Assis Bensouda worked for?
Yes, he works for AB and Co.
AB and Co.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you ask which lawyer, it's for the dispute, not for the sale.
It's for the dispute.
It's for the dispute.
So meaning there was also a separate lawyer for the sales?
No, the lawyer.
Or just for the
lawyer.
That Miss.
So that.
No, I might be having Miss Jammeh.
Yeah.
And also having Assis Bensouda supporting AB and Co. as the lead counsel in the process of the Jammeh Commission. I think it worth asking for clarity just to avoid confusions and, you know. Yes, so I think now we can progress proper. I just want us to look at plot number 13 of Brufut Heights.
Number 13, yes.
Number 13, which was unsold, right? A property that is unsold, under whose management is it?
It's still with the receiver, but if you go there now, you'll...
So in terms of managing the property, who actually foot the bill?
In terms of managing
the property, knowing that you are managing the property as a receiver.
So all the costs would be on the asset. So if you sell it, you deduct that cost.
Before the sales, the cost that the asset may incur.
Yes, so the receiver is responsible for paying those funds. For example, like the electricity, the water, until it is sold.
And still the asset remain to be unsold.
Yes.
Whilst still government have to incur cost on it.
Yes.
Is that really a fair practice?
Well, I can tell you that the expenses are not significant.
No, let's not look at the significance of the expense, because I think every bottle that the government spend on should be a concern for citizens, because it's not a matter of, you know, so this is why I'm asking these questions.
Honorable, and that's why exactly we have it on the website. So you can see that I would say significant amount of the properties that we were given were sold. So there are few that have not been sold. So it's the nature of the transaction. If we can sell it today, we will sell it. We've got several people that have visited it, but we haven't had concrete offers.
You mentioned about this website. From the time of you being appointed as a receiver, in terms of duration, how long was this website operational, and at what point in time was it not operational? If you can distinguish these two, because that would also determine how effective were we working towards selling these assets or properties.
Okay, I can tell you that at some point yet the website was not working.
It was not working.
But I cannot tell you exactly for how long. And at some point, really, the exercise was not moving as it should move, because really we were waiting for a long time for approval for the fourth phase, so that we can advertise it and include it with the other properties that are on the website. But we still haven't got approval for the fourth phase.
Who controls the domain of this website? And will it be right to say the website was only reopened when this special select committee was initiated or constituted?
Just before.
Just before?
Yes.
Before the public hearing or before plenary?
I can tell you the exact date, but
I will definitely
I can tell you the exact date.
appreciate
but I
that.
believe that it's
Because it will be important for the committee to communications
for this.
for this.
Yes.
Then will it be correct to say that it was not a communication from the Ministerial Task Force Committee, but instead the instructions comes from the Minister of Justice? Looking at the letter and looking at the author of the letter.
Okay, so let me read the letter.
Kindly do, please.
The letter is dated 17 November 2021. Proposed purchase of future building by the
Sorry, sir. Mr. Burry, can you also read from the address? We want to know from which address the letter emerged from.
Attorney General's Chambers, Minister of Justice. The above subject matter refers, please, I am directed to write and convey cabinet approval for the sale of the Future Lake building at a cost of 100 million during its meeting of 1st and 2nd November 2021. Based on the above, you are hereby directed to contact the management of the bank for immediate payment of the approved sum.
Mr. Burry, how should I even put it? Will it be correct to say that communication never emerged from the Ministerial Task Force, but instead it emerged from the Ministry of Justice? Looking at the address and also the one who signed for that letter?
Well, I guess we need to look at the contents.
No, before the content, we need to look at the address. Because in a situation you are supposed to respond to that letter, you wouldn't address it to the Ministerial Task Force Committee. You will address it to the AG's office.
Yeah, you know, we discussed this before. I never had direct dealings with the Ministerial Task Force. So all the dealings were communicated through the Office of the Attorney General. So he was the person, he was the interface between myself and the Ministerial Task Force. So whatever they decide, whatever they discuss, I get the communication from the Office of the Attorney General.
Yeah, Mr. Burry, I understand from when you were appointed, communications were coming from the MOJ.
Yes.
Right? However, in between, responsibilities shifted. Let's say from MOJ to the Ministerial Task Force. And looking at how the Ministerial Task Force was constituted, it involves different ministries, from the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Tourism, and MOJ. So, my point here is we should be able to distinguish the Ministerial Task Force and MOJ. And I will appreciate if you can help us to distinguish in between these two structures, more especially in terms of communications and also authority to act on. I repeat my question again. The authority to sell Future Lake to the Central Bank of the Gambia, where does the authority emerge from?
I just read that out.
I knew you read it out, but it seems confusing. looking at the address of the letter and also the content. And if you don't mind, with the chair's permission, I will ask you to read that letter again for our understanding.
All right. Chair.
You want him to read?
I want him to read back the letter, starting from the address to the content.
All right, that's okay. That's the request. Granted, Mr. Barry, you can go ahead.
So the address is the letter is emanating from the office of the Attorney General, Ministry of Justice, and it's dated 17 November 2021, and it's addressed to me. And the title is Proposed Purchase of Future Building by the Central Bank of the Gambia. And it says, the above subject matter refers, please, I am directed to write and convey cabinet approval for the sale of the Future building at a cost of 100 million during its meeting of 1st and 2nd November 2021. Based on the above, you are hereby directed to contact the management of the bank for immediate payment of the approved sum.
I think now it is even simple. It never said, I am asked to convey the Ministerial Task Force Committee message, but instead it said cabinet.
Please proceed, Honorable.
Yeah, it said cabinet.
Yes, it says cabinet.
In the content of the letter.
Yes.
And I want to believe cabinet in this context is different from the Ministerial Task Force.
The cabinet contains the Ministerial Task Force as well.
It contains the Ministerial Task Force.
Yes.
Give us a clarity on that, because my understanding on cabinet would be the executive.
The cabinet means the entire ministry.
The
Yes.
entire
Yes,
executive.
including the task force members.
The task force members forms part of the cabinet.
So really, you need to help me. Where is this going? I mean,
Where is this going?
what is,
okay.
If you help me with that, then
No, I
probably-
will. I go straight.
Yes.
Where I am heading to is, I want to know, or the committee wants to know, where the authority emerged from.
Okay. But this one is very clear.
No, it's not still clear.
Maybe we should ask the other members.
In my understanding, in my personal understanding, it's not clear, but we can leave it as it is for the committee to really yield on it and also come up with their recommendations. But for me, I want to understand that this authority emerged from the former Minister of Justice.
From the former, but this is November 2021.
Okay.
November?
2021.
Right. If it is November 2021,
Was the former Minister of Justice there? He was not.
but before the letter, was it? Okay. So you want to tell me this transaction happened when the current Minister of Justice is in office?
That's what the date is indicating.
Okay, we will get there, don't worry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So just for clarity, Honorable, with the issue of the Ministerial Task Force and the issue of cabinet, I know both of you understand what cabinet means. The Ministerial Task Force forms part of the cabinet. These were a set of ministers that identified to be responsible of certain tasks regarding the disposal of the assets. So I think that was it. The Minister of Tourism, Minister of Lands, and then the Justice Minister.
And agriculture.
And agriculture, yes, exactly. So that was the composition. Of course, the chairperson comes from Minister of Justice, I know.
Yes.
So yeah, that was it.
Yes, I'm not in very, I just want those two structures to be, you know, yeah. I also want us to look at 300 Bruford Gardens. It was sold, and my understanding is the buyer couldn't really have access to this property.
I believe he has now.
You believe he has now? When did he has access to this property?
I cannot tell you.
Yeah, but I think the last time that you visited there with the team of our investigators, it was clear that the buyer couldn't have access to this property. Wrong or right? It was occupied by the PIU then, which was not even long ago, about a month or two.
Yeah, but I believe that he has access, because he hasn't come back to say that I cannot get access to my building. He didn't come back to me as a receiver to say that I've paid this amount of money and I cannot get access.
Yeah, but from the feedback we received when you visited there a month or so ago with the team of investigators, the property was occupied by personnel of the police intervention unit.
We saw two ladies.
You saw two ladies?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't see personnel of the PIU.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, if the owner has paid his money and hasn't come back to me as a receiver and to say that I haven't got access to my property, who knows? Maybe he has made arrangements with whoever is staying there.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
It is people from Guinea-Conakry and PIU who are staying there at the time of your visit. And for me, I think one reason why you took the investigators from the National Assembly to go and see these properties or assets is to give them an idea as to who actually occupies the property. So if you are assuming or you want to make us believe that the buyer actually get hold of this property.
Well, Honorable, if I pay $1 million, about 7 million, and I don't have access to the property, I will go back to the people that sold it to me and say, look, either refund me my money or give me access. So once that complaint hasn't come, we cannot assume that it is occupied forcefully. I think it's the onus really is on the buyer. If it hasn't come up, I really don't see the issue there.
Yeah, just because from the report we also gathered from our investigators, it indicates that the buyer was indeed very frustrated. And at some point, in fact, I think he removed the roof from that particular building. And because
the windows,
the
windows.
Okay, the windows, whatever.
I think the roof is still.
Here, what we have is Jabi took out all the roof of the main building and some of his valuables. If only you want to tell us that the people you went with or taught a different opinion. You took them there. I wasn't really there. I'm just relying on a document before me.
You know what I want to. I want you to help me to help you.
Exactly, sir.
So that what is the rationale in relation to the terms of reference? This is a property that was advertised. This was a property that was sold to the highest bidder, and the bidder paid, and we've prepared his documents. So as far as I am concerned, if this bidder hasn't come back to me to say that I don't have access to my property, there's nothing I can do.
No, for me, I'm not saying you should be in a position to do much, but I want to believe you should be in a position to provide this committee with clarity on some of these properties that you manage, more especially in contrary to the report we gathered as a committee.
But I'm not
So,
managing this property.
Okay.
Can I just come in? Now, Mr. Barry, the property in question is already sold. Has been sold
It
already.
was sold, he paid,
Okay.
and it was transferred.
Yes.
For me, end of story.
That's what you've done.
Yes.
Yes, I understand where he's coming from. When you visited the property with the investigation team, yes, the observations and what they have seen has been analyzed as well for the committee, and that is an information for the committee to use.
Yeah.
So I think, Honorable, yes, if the property is sold and is recorded correctly, one, how much was it sold and what was the guide price, and everything has been done correctly, then we can move ahead. Then now we
Yeah,
have
Chairman,
to-
my only issue here is, like you sold a property to a particular customer, and that customer as well registering his frustrations in terms of having an access to that property. I think as a committee, we have a responsibility to safeguard both the state and the buyer.
So now, what we do is the buyer of the property. Have you ever, get any complaint from the buyer that he cannot access the property? No.
I cannot remember, but I guess where Honorable is going to complete the circle is you have the details of the buyer. The investigators can call him and say, are you having problems having access?
But one number question is, have you ever heard from him that, because now you sold the
In the
property.
beginning, yes.
Yes, you sold the property to him.
In the
And
beginning,
of course,
yes.
if he doesn't have access to the property, he has the right to come back to you and say, I do not have access to the property. Now, what did you do when he contacted you?
We did bring it to the attention of the Director of Civil Litigation.
Litigation, okay.
Yes, for him to take it up with the PIU.
And up till now, it has not been resolved.
No, he didn't come back to me. The buyer didn't. That's what I'm saying. The buyer didn't come back to me to say that I cannot have access. So since the investigative team has gone there and they've seen what they saw, and they believe that maybe the buyer doesn't have access. I mean, the easiest thing is they have the buyer's telephone number.
Okay.
You call him and just.
No, the issue will be even if the committee contact the buyer, the owner of the property right now, or the buyer, let me say. Now, what can you do to resolve the issue? Because then the issue comes back to you again as the seller. Because now you sold something that the buyer cannot have access to.
I sold on behalf of government. So
Yeah,
what I can do is to go back to
Okay, that's perfect.
the MOJ and say that.
Perfect.
But for the cycle to complete, the investigators have been there.
Okay.
I mean, they can go ahead, complete the cycle and call the owner.
Okay, that's fine. Hello.
I just want to propose that we allow Mr. Barry to complete the cycle. The investigators will not act on your instance. So I would propose that you tell Mr. Barry to find out and tell this committee with clarity whether the issues have been resolved. And that will really answer the questions Honorable is bringing forward.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. I think that's a good
All right.
proposal.
I'll call him and then I will
Perfect.
report.
Yeah, I was in fact going to get to the same point because the receiver himself said when the matter was lodged to him, he engaged the civil litigation department for sanity. But then he is not in a position to tell us what was the outcome of when he engaged the director of civil litigation on this specific matter. However, we can
Proceed. Yes.
proceed after.
No, just so you can provide the information, call and confirm, and please you can let the committee know about what happened next.
All right. But sometimes there are easier ways of getting answers to these questions. I mean, you ask the party that is directly involved. But it's fine. I will call the...
What did you say? You say who? Who is
The
directly
party who was directly involved, that is the buyer.
No, not the buyer. In this case, if I've reported to the Minister of Justice
Yes.
and you want to know what happened, probably you ask, in this instance...
No. The information to resolve the issue is for you. And of course, MOJ, we want to know, we want to have an information so that, you know, because now we are investigating on the sales and disposal. Now something happened. We just want to be sure that, you know, it has been resolved.
It will be done.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Barry, for the reassurance. Now I want us to look at these properties at Yarambamba being labeled as unsold, like property number 83, 85, 86, 88, and 89. I just want you to yield on these 4 or 5 properties. Why are they not sold, and why are they still occupied? Or why were they occupied by other people?
Okay, so let me read that part of the report that I read earlier.
For example, 83 is saying the price was returned to the buyers or to the buyer as a result of occupants refusing to vacate the premises.
I will read one after the other.
Please.
So that it is... So I'll start with 83 Yarambamba. It was advertised in the newspapers with a deadline of 18 October. 2 bids were received, one for 400,000, the other one for 1.8 million. So it was sold to the highest bidder at 1.85. The contact person was informed, but he withdrew his bid. The property was put back on the website as available for sale. Number 85. The property was included in the approved list for sale. It was advertised in the newspapers with a deadline of 18 October. 2 bids were received from the same person, one by email, one by letter. Due to challenges with access to the property, he later withdrew his offer and payments were refunded. 88 Yarambamba. The property was included in the approved list. It was advertised. 4 bids were received, 1.8, 400,000, and 2.47. Mr. Ture was the highest bidder at 2.47. Due to challenges with access to the property, he later withdrew his offer and payments were refunded. Subsequent to the bid evaluation, Manex Limited made an offer and paid for the property. The Ministry of Justice rescinded its decision to dispose of the property, and the payment was refunded as instructed. Number 89, Yarambamba. It was included in the approved list. It was advertised with a deadline of 18 October. There was one bidder by email and also in person, that's Mr. Ture. The only bidder, but due to challenges to access to the property, he later withdrew and his offer and payments were refunded. Subsequent to the bid evaluation, Manex Limited made an offer and paid for the property. The MOJ rescinded its decision to dispose of the property and the payment was refunded as instructed. So that's our report on those properties.
So, you know, in between the Ministerial Task Force and MOJ, we are now getting to understand that these decisions were not emerging from the ministerial task force, but instead from the Ministry of Justice, according to what you just read, in terms of rescinding certain decisions by MOJ as per the document you read just now.
I don't think I can come to that conclusion, because for me, if I say Minister of Justice, I'm saying the chair of the ministerial task force. I believe that whatever they were doing it on behalf of the ministerial task force.
Mr. Barry, don't you think, suppose the specific minister was acting on behalf of the ministerial task force, he will put it to say, on behalf of the chairperson of the ministerial task force, instead of the Ministry of Justice. We just need to get these facts right.
No, I mean, you are asking...
I don't want you to draw any conclusion here, because you were directly working with these people and you were taking instructions or authority from these individuals or from these offices that you were acting upon.
Yeah. For me, my assumption is the Minister of Justice, as chair of the ministerial task force, whenever they interact with me, whatever they were doing it on behalf of the ministerial task force.
Kindly read 89 back for us and just listen to yourself.
Subsequent to the bid evaluation, Manex Limited made an offer and paid for the property. The MOJ rescinded its decision to dispose of the property.
There, sir. Stop there. It says MOJ rescinded its decision, not the ministerial task force rescinding its decision.
We have to rewind back what I said. I said from the beginning, whenever I interact with the Minister of Justice. Wait a minute.
No, wait a minute as well. Mr. Barry. It shouldn't be about what you think or what I think. It should be about what is written in black and white. We cannot really change that to our personal perceptions, if I may be right.
Can I just come in here? So, Mr. Barry, you are saying if you interact with the Minister for Justice, it means Minister of Justice is acting on behalf of the ministerial committee. Is that what you said?
Yes. Whenever I interact with the Minister or the Ministry of Justice, as far as this receivership is concerned, my assumption is whatever he's doing it on behalf of the ministerial subcommittee.
Was there any point in time you had discussion with the Minister for Justice and he tells you that he's acting on behalf of the ministerial committee?
That's my assumption. I mean...
No, I'm asking, what did he ever say that to you? Before you bring in the assumption, because I just wanted to clear that out. Yes, you may have believed that he's acting on behalf of the ministerial committee, but in actual fact, probably he is directly, interacting with you without, other committee members. Just like this committee, for example, as chairperson. You understand? If I am acting, somebody outside will think that I'm acting on behalf of the committee, but sometimes I can be acting on my own. That's possible.
I will be speculating. I mean,
I just want
really for this issue.
Now, I'm helping you as well, because the question he's asking, yes, he wanted to respond to that question. Now, if you are so to say you believe that he was acting on behalf of the ministerial committee, I'll ask him. We proceed. Simple.
Yes, I believe that he was acting on behalf of of the ministerial task force. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Chair, I also want to put it to him, looking at or taking reference from the communications, there is no way or indication to say the minister was acting on behalf of the Ministerial Task Force Committee, but instead he was acting on behalf of the Ministry of Justice.
Okay.
But you can find that out.
Hold on.
No, I don't. If I'm to find that out, it have to be in between us now, before I get to them.
Mr. Barry, Honorable, now what we do is, Mr. Honorable, we can proceed. That part of the is it a statement? I don't know.
No, it's a report. It's a
report?
narration of, yeah.
Yes. The
But
committee
this is from...
we will take up that, and then it will form part of the report, and then recommendation will come to that effect. Maybe then we will have clarity. Okay.
Yes.
Please,
so
let's proceed.
Mr. Barry, 83 to 89. At any point, was this properties under your management? That is the Yarambamba properties, Yarambamba 83, 85, 86, 88, and 89.
Yes, but we couldn't get access.
You couldn't get access.
Yes.
But you were able to sell them.
On the, yeah, because we had it on the website.
You have it. No, my question is, you were able to sell them even though you didn't have an access to the properties.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yeah. We had access when we were doing the valuation.
You have access when you were doing the valuation.
Yeah, but when
the money was released, you couldn't have an access.
Yeah, the buyers couldn't get access.
And how do you handle this matter?
I refer it back to the MOJ.
You refer it back to the MOJ instead of referring it back to the Ministerial Task Force Committee.
Yeah, I always, Honorable, when I say Minister of Justice, I've given you a blanket. Whenever I'm interacting the MOJ, my assumption is they are representing the Ministerial Task Force.
For me,
or you have contrary information to the contrary?
I have a very, very contrary to what you're saying, because for me, I know the Ministry of Justice or the MOJ as an institution has a limit as much as the disposal of properties were concerned. However, I also understand at some point a whole responsibility was given to a ministerial task force to execute one or two duties in relation to the disposals of former president's asset. So for me, telling me that anytime you interact or you interacted with a particular ministry, your assumption is you were interacting with an entire ministerial task force, I definitely want to differ to that opinion.
May I please come in here? Now, Honorable, thank you so very much for that point. I think it's important. What I will advise us to do is, because we will have a member of the ministerial committee before us, that question will come back again for clarity, and then we will proceed. Then if there is any clarity on that, then we will drop them out. Otherwise, it will form part of the report. However, I understand Mr. Barry, in his capacity as the receiver, yes, was dealing with the MOJ, specifically the Minister of Justice and,
the Director of Civil
Litigation. Yeah. I understand he was directly interacting with them. Yes, the Minister of Justice was the chairperson of the Cabinet Ministerial Committee. Yes, it will appear that the Justice Minister, as chairperson, is definitely representing the entire ministerial subcommittee. It will appear to him as that. But we will have to find out this information and get more clarity from members of the ministerial committee. And then we will be able to hold him. Okay? We can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Just to yield on that, looking at the evidence before us, there is no indication that those communications has anything to do with the Ministerial Task Force Committee. What it clearly stated is the Cabinet and as well as MOJ. So where can we position the Ministerial Task Force Committee in this situation when actually the responsibility was bestowed on the Ministerial Task Force Committee? This is my point here. And don't forget as well, by extension, the Ministerial Task Force Committee also constituted a technical task force committee having the respective permanent secretaries from the various ministries to be represented in that task force.
So I just wanted to help you, and that was why we requested for the Ministerial Task Force meeting minutes. And I think this report we will have, and then it will definitely clear your concern.
I am pretty sure my concerns are going to be clear at the end of the day.
Yeah.
However, I also want to believe that Mr. Burry has a responsibility here as a receiver, knowing fully that partly he was supposed to take authority from the Ministerial Task Force Committee.
I get your point. That is what.
This is what I want.
No, I get your point.
For Mr. Barry to understand
now
as a receiver.
I get your point, and that's why I said you've made a very valid point. However, at this point, for him, it will only appear to him that the Minister of Justice, who is directly interacting with him, and of course, who is responsible for his appointment, you understand, is the person responsible for whatever he is doing as a receiver. But in the books, the Minister for Justice was selected from cabinet to head the cabinet ministerial subcommittee. I get your point. That was what I said. That will be clear, because then we will know whether the minister was acting on his personal behalf or on behalf of the ministerial subcommittee. Then we'll be able to know why Mr. Barry did not flag them for the minister. You understand my point?
I understand your point very well.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get anything from him.
I recall a minister telling us here that on that witness seat, a former minister telling us that the responsibility that was given to one of his staff was ABC. If he goes out of that, it's his personal responsibility that he has nothing to do with, if you can recall.
Very well.
So this is what I am trying to run away from, more especially having the witness before us to actually seek for clarity. However, I would appreciate we
get
proceed.
his point that he said to him it appears that the minister, whenever he interacts with the Minister for Justice, he is representing the cabinet subcommittee, and I think that response from him is the only response you can get as well. So now, for us to clarify that issue, we will definitely get that information.
We can proceed.
Please.
Mr. Bori, what do you know about Kotu Residence 3? Were you managing the property?
So I have, is it on the list of sold property?
It should be there, yes.
Which number is it?
This is Kotu Residence 3. Opposite Ker Umma Foundation, marked A/B. Not sold though.
So what I have here is 192 Kotu West, 188 Kotu West, 421 Kotu West, Kotu Extension Palmarima Road. So which of the Kotus?
Well, I think because we have a different document, but then what I have here is Kotu Resident 3. Is what I have before me.
That is from following the investigation?
Yes.
Okay, so they're giving it a different name.
Okay, we can let that go. We can let that one go. Let's look at Royal Atlantic, which was sold.
Yes.
I think it really forms a high revenue contribution to the sales.
You are correct, yes. Yes.
Good. How was this sales audited? Excuse me.
How was it audited? Can you?
Yes, was it separately audited or it forms the overall audit that was done on the sales of properties?
The audit was not It wasn't separate. It wasn't separate. It wasn't separated. So it was part of all the properties that were audited.
Okay. Because for me, no, that's fine. We shouldn't get to that. I shouldn't waste your time on that. I will take that up with the committee. And it was sold to what? Balafon?
It was sold to Balafon Company Limited, and Corendon was a joint venture.
Was a joint venture.
Yes.
And how many people bid for the property?
Two.
Two.
Yeah.
That is the two joint companies, so?
No. Senegambia Beach Hotel Limited also bidded for it.
Okay. And was it purchased by the highest bidder, or?
The difference was quite big because it's 250 million against 344 million.
So the 344. Mr. Barry, the properties that were said to be returned for one reason or the other, do you know at any point in time if the process was duly done in terms of returning these properties?
As receiver, you know my powers are quite limited. If government writes to me and say return the property, don't sell it, that's it. For me, that's where it stops. I think really some of these questions, you need the ministerial subcommittee or somebody from there to really help clarify some of those issues. My powers they're quite limited.
Yeah, Mr. Barry, you know here it's not about powers now. It's
is.
about expertise, and I want to believe it were one of the reasons why your services were hired, with the hope that there will be at no instance that you can be compromised based on your qualification and expertise, and there will be at no point that you can be intimidated in terms of your expertise and experience. For example, if I should come to you as a receiver and say, look, we ask you to sell this particular property, but now we are changing our mind. You cannot sell it. We believe as a Gambian, as a highly qualified auditor, you should be able to stand in a position to give an advice to the state as to what you think was right or not. And I can give you a typical example of a scenario in between a particular receiver and the state with regards to Ozone Bay and Sunset Beach. And I also want to gauge what were your position or your stance in terms of advising the Ministerial Task Force Committee or the MOJ in terms of rescinding certain decisions in relation to the disposal of these properties or assets. I think it will be fair to also hear from your end.
Now, how shall I answer this question? I mean, you are dealing with government.
And we form that government.
Yes, but they represent. We've devolved our powers to them.
Right.
Like we've devolved our powers to the National Assembly as well. So each has their role to play. So that's why I'm saying that some of these questions, I think really you should direct it to the ministerial, and then you will get the right answers. In terms of managing hotels and also selling properties, I don't think the analogy it's right. But if they say that they are leasing the property for government use, for example, I know that of Vigilo, that is where the internal audit is. So you understand where they are coming from. If the property is occupied by a government agency that they are finding it difficult to move out, I'm not going to put myself in between. I'll allow them to deal with it the way that they should deal with it. But, and I always believe, I have good faith that whatever they are doing it in the best interest of the country. And they may be privileged to information that I may not have, that will influence what they are doing. And I'm sure they are accountable. I am sure they do report back to cabinet, and I believe that they were doing the right thing.
Hello. I done?
Yes.
Do you have more questions? We break for praise and come back, or you
No,
want to finish?
no, I don't have more questions.
You want to finish before you go?
I think, yeah, I'm almost done. I don't want to keep my uncle long.
All right, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, since you're calling for prayers, I think I may wrap it up here. But with just a final question, why the adverts on websites continues whilst adverts on newspapers stopped at some point?
So as I said earlier, we had written to the task force via the Ministry of Justice.
Chair. You hear him now. Huh? Mr. Barry said, tax force. You get it now. Let him continue.
So we had written for approval for phase 4. And the intention really was to get the approval for phase 4 and then add all the properties that were unsold and then do another advertisement in the papers and also with the website. But I can tell you, Honorable, with these proceedings going on, I don't see people who are going to get up and put up their hand to say that they're going to buy property. Because most people want to buy property anonymously. So anyway, the reason is that we wanted the phase 4 to be approved, and then we'll combine whatever is on the website and do a general advertisement and hope that we will be able to sell all of them. But looking at the results, I don't think we've done badly.
Even though I want to conclude there, I have to bring this up, Mr. Chair. Mr. Berry, why, when you have concerns, you will write to the ministerial task force, but in the other hand, you will take authority from the Ministry of Justice and by extension execute them?
No, it's the interaction with you. I mean, you are, if I say Minister of Justice, you are taking it literally as I'm just dealing with them. So I told you before, when I interact...
Mr. Berry, let it not be about me, let it be about the committee, because what happens is it will be very unfair to you to actually treat you otherwise on the basis of your responses.
No, whenever I say Minister of Justice, my assumption
So in between, we have to understand
yeah,
your communications. Was it via The Ministry of Justice or the Ministerial Task Force? Because they
No,
will come here.
It was always through the Minister of Justice. I've never communicated with the Ministerial Task Force.
So that have to be clear.
And I only met with them, I believe, once.
Once,
So
yes.
there was like a bill between me and the Ministerial Task Force, and that bill was the Ministry of Justice.
Okay. That is fine. Chair? Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorables. I'm not too sure whether we have any more further questions. Council, before
I do.
you have? Okay.
So maybe we can take 10-15 minutes break and then come back.
You want us to come back again, Council? No, we have.
Yeah.
Council?
So I
Council-
thought you just mentioned before Honorable Jammeh was done that we should perhaps take
No,
a small
I was
break.
asking whether he will finish his questions before we close.
Close. Oh no.
We don't
But
have to close.
Yeah, I have a few questions. Not many. Just a small amount. About 3 questions.
So, okay, then I think we should close by 6 o'clock then.
Okay.
That's about 15 minutes.
19 minutes. It's fine.
Okay, 19. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Mr. Berry, there was something I skipped when we were discussing the properties that are still listed on the website, which is the gold refinery. So briefly, let us just talk about the refinery. Where is it currently located?
It's interesting that you ask, because we received an offer
Okay.
on the gold refinery, I believe about 3 weeks ago, which I've communicated to the Minister of Justice.
Nice.
So it's located at inside the airport.
Mm.
I don't know. So before do you know where Civil Aviation headquarters?
Yes, we know.
Okay, it's around that side.
We don't know where the factory is located. So there was something you mentioned at the last adjourned date. I believe it was the second day that you testified, is that anytime a property is being sold or is listed on the website or advertised on the newspapers, that the bidders are given a chance to visit the property or view the property. Has this been the case for the refinery?
Yes, but we've been finding it difficult to get the keys. But we've taken there a couple of taken there a couple of bidders.
Okay.
But the current bidder was having difficulty to access it because we cannot find the keys.
So you did have bidders that wanted
Yes,
to buy the
before.
refinery?
Yes, before.
And they were able to visit the factory?
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Yeah.
And they saw the refinery. So why is it difficult now to see the refinery?
So the keys were with the director of civil litigation,
Okay.
and he left.
Yes.
So they are finding it difficult to see the keys.
Mm.
So what we might end up doing, if the buyer actually is indeed serious, is to cut the padlock, probably in the presence of security or whatever, and then they visit and then we replace it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And what is the guide price for the refinery? Do you know?
Sure, can we check on the website?
You don't know the price, Mr. Barry?
I don't want to rely too much on my memory since it's available.
Well, interestingly, the guide price is not on the website. You know, your website is not very friendly, Mr. Barry.
It's not friendly.
No.
All right, we will take that into account.
Very well.
But we did it was very difficult to evaluate.
Okay.
So what we did was to reach out to the suppliers.
The manufacturer.
Yes,
Oh.
the ones that actually came and installed it. So we were able to get access to them. And then they gave us an indicative price,
Okay.
which I believe it was, I think, 250,000 euros.
Okay.
Because the value actually is not in the equipment. The value is in the license because it is in a free zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Let's move on. You were asked a question.
Sorry, Council, before you move from there. Mr. Barry,
Yes, Honorable.
you made a statement and I was concerned, but after you said there was a bidder for the refinery, I became relieved. When you were responding to Honorable Jammeh's question with regards to putting the adverts on the newspaper, he did reference the ongoing inquiry as an impediment which is stopping many people from coming forward. So,
No, not an impediment.
then how are you paraphrasing it?
I think it will discourage certain people that would have bidded.
Yeah,
Because
but here you are. Then I was going to ask, how did you get this one?
well, he's not local.
Yes. You know, as a committee, you will also be concerned if at all the ongoing inquiry, you are describing it as a factor which is discouraging people and also stopping you from making adverts in the papers.
No, not making adverts. The adverts will be, what I said was,
Mhm.
I don't think it will be as successful as the previous phases. I think, let me qualify it.
And that's not proven. Because I think
It's
any willing buyer should be happy that there is transparency and accountability in the process.
That's
Should be
correct.
happy that they would have security. And that's all what this committee is trying to do. Because this committee have not forfeited anything from anybody and will never forfeit anything from anybody that was legally acquired. So, Chair, that one is a concern for me. And I think we have to get to Mr. Barry. You know, Mr. Barry, we are not discouraging you from making sales. I think that one lies in you. So go ahead and do your sales. Get the customers.
okay. Let's get the ministerial task force to approve phase 4,
Thank you.
and then we advertise, and then
Yes.
maybe my premise may be proven wrong.
Absolutely. No. You don't need to even work on probabilities. Your task is to make sales. Go out and make sales.
Yeah.
For us, we are on a fact-finding mission. We are working at parallels, so our paths do not cross. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Ding. Royal Atlantic. We were asked questions about it. But just quickly, still on the gold refinery, you mentioned something that the value of the refinery is not in the machinery itself, but rather where it is located. Is this something that the manufacturers or the suppliers told you?
No, it's so the equipment. So let me give an analogy. You know, we talked about the scanning machine. The value is not in the machine itself. The value is in the license to provide that service. That's where you make the money. So the same with the gold refinery, because it is in a special economic zone. So it means you have tax privileges. That is the value, not the gold processing equipment itself. I mean, anybody can have a gold processing equipment, but to have it in a free trade zone, it increases the value. I don't know whether you understand.
I do.
Yeah.
So now, when do you plan to take this bidder to the location where the refinery is?
Yeah, so
Or is it-
he's made the bid. I've submitted it, and he's traveled. So when he comes back again, we will now agree on the. Well, I guess the committee will do an evaluation and see whether they want to proceed or not. So if they say yes, they want to proceed, then I guess the next phase would be for them to visit. So we will do what I said to go and change the locks. So I guess it might be imminent between now and end of the month, early. I know that he's very keen, or they are very keen because it's a group.
All right, let's go to Royal Atlantic. You mentioned that 75% of the fees are to be paid or have already been paid.
71% was paid.
Okay, 71.
Yes, and then government owes them.
Government?
Government owes them money.
Owes.
The buyers of Royal Atlantic. They have other businesses.
Okay.
So I believe they had approached government to say that the amount you owe us, can you convert it as payment towards Royal Atlantic? So the Ministry of Justice has written to the Ministry of Finance for them to accept that proposition. And if they do accept it, it would have been sufficient to cover 75% of the value, and then they would now be in a position whereby government would issue the lease, and then they would pay the difference.
Has this been done yet?
It's actually, I got a correspondence from the Minister of Justice last week on that. So the process is in the terms of the letter to Minister of Finance. So this is very recent.
So the Minister of Finance has agreed for the...
No, the Minister of Justice has written with the supporting documents.
And a reply is being awaited.
Yes. So once the reply is given, then I will now capture that to show that they have paid. So it will be like a credit note.
Interesting. And the buyers of Royal Atlantic, these two hotels, as a joint venture. Is it, or these two companies?
It was a joint venture, but one of the partners dropped out after COVID.
Which one of them dropped out?
Corendon.
Okay. And now it is the Balafon group. Yeah. Very well. My last question, or just the last point, is with regards to the property in Brufut. Let me get the proper address. It's Brufut 2, number 4 on phase 2, if I'm not wrong. Actually,
Brufut. Is this phase 1, 2, or 3?
It's the property that was sold or was supposed to be sold to Mr. Lamin Sise.
Yes, Brufut has B.
Okay. That's phase 3, right?
Yes.
All right. I was looking at Brufut Gardens.
By the way, I've already sent you the notarized letter.
Okay.
I've sent it to...
That is fine. My issue is On all the reports that you've submitted to the committee, the first one being reports that you have even submitted to the Ministry of Justice in May, and then in the second phase, or in the second submission, which you did electronically, the name of the buyer, the name of the buyer on the documents is reflected as Mr. Lamin Sise.
Yes, it's still Lamin Sise until...
I mean, you've received instructions to transfer the property to somebody else. So technically the buyer is that person, isn't it? If
No.
you're writing a report, or at least it should have reflected that the bidder was Mr. Lamin Sise, but
If you
the
look
owner
at,
of the property
sorry.
is Binta Sise, isn't it?
If you look at the previous, for example, I mentioned Banjul, that something like happened. So it's still the original owner.
And it did say that Miss Fanta, is it Fanta Toure? The property has been transferred to Miss Fanta Toure.
Yeah, well, I'm referring to 73 OAU Boulevard.
Number 73. Hold on. Okay. Who was the bidder? Or who had the winning bid? Ms. Momodu Korkajal.
Yes, but eventually it went to two, or because they were a consortium, it was transferred to two other people.
It was transferred to?
Two other people.
Okay. And who? This is in phase one.
Phase one. So for me, really, the importance was whether they've paid.
You were just after the money.
That's very crude, counsel.
I mean, that's what essentially that is what you're telling the committee. It was the money that was
but
your
I'm sure
concern.
there's a nicer way of putting it.
But at the end of the day, it was the money.
What
that
I
was your
wanted to see
concern.
was the color of the money paid into the bank. If you are,
It doesn't matter whether or the commission, from the proceeds of sale. Maybe that is what I should have said. It's better to say the money, isn't it?
it's nicer to say the funds or the proceeds.
All right, Mr. Barry. The proceeds of sale, that's what you were after. You do not want to verify anything.
You know, one thing we are forgetting. You know, behind all this, the FIU is behind. You know, any transaction after a certain threshold. I guess you know about the FIU.
Of course.
So I don't need to elaborate.
So that's it. That is why in your initial reports it does not reflect.
Yeah.
So the Attorney General does not even know who the right owner of that property is.
It still hasn't been concluded, as I said. So once it's concluded,
Has the funds been paid through the account?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything goes through
Everything goes to the account, isn't it?
Everything goes to the account.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't see a dollar. Everything goes to the account.
Yes, for transparency purposes and accountability.
And for accountability, it was
Yes.
easier.
So now the money has been paid into the funds have been paid into the account, and then the council has been instructed to prepare the transfer. The transfer has been signed.
No, not yet. It's still with the Lands Office.
Why is the transfer at Lands?
I need to find out why, but it all goes to Lands Office. I guess maybe to see whether all payments have been made. I need to find out really why it is in Lands Office and why it is taking that long.
Is this the only one that is pending at the Ministry of Lands?
I don't know. Because as I said, you know, once It is really for the buyer to ensure that he or her interest is protected.
Okay.
And then you need to now follow the stamping and pay whatever you need to pay.
Mm. All right. Honorable
So,
Chair.
Council, one question.
Yes, please.
Now, let's say that the property has been sold and the buyer did not change, there is no transfer. If the government want to withdraw the sales, can they do it now?
They have done that several times.
To withdraw, even now, they can do it.
Yes, they can.
They can withdraw that sales.
And then refund. But I guess it has to be within a very short, narrow window. Because 7 million in 2021 and 7 million in 2025. It's not the same 7 million.
But it's still the same amount because you haven't done the transfer. It's not in your name. No. What I'm saying. No. Hold on. The property is still not in the name of the buyer. If the property, the name title has changed, for example, is in your name. Now you are at discretion to sell your property, and you can sell it, by converting the amount. If I am correct, that's what I think.
Well, if you do that, the buyer will take the government to court. And possibly.
Was there any agreement that? But now you did not. There is no transfer.
Chair, let's not get there.
Okay. I'm just asking. I want clarity. No.
A government.
I'm not proposing for government to withdraw.
A government always keeps its word.
Hello. I'm not proposing for government to withdraw. I'm asking. I said, it's 7 years now. There is no transfer.
No, it's not 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we have to make clarity here. He is right to say you cannot say at 7 million in 2020. If your government want to withdraw, they cannot give back the same amount that you bought it for, the same money, the same amount. So my concern here also, if you look at the other sales, people were buying the lands on what price were they buying? We are not buying for the price that it was sold. It was bought from them by Jammeh. Some property we are giving back to their previous owners from the same price that Jammeh bought it from them.
That was a directive from the.
So it's also the same here.
Yeah.
It might be the same directive.
Before you come, Council, I think, Chair, in this case, Mr. Barry is right to say that there should be a window because those sales were legal, not so.
Yes.
And as Chair rightly placed it, the committee doesn't have the authority or intention to reverse them. But the frustration Chair is trying to bring across is years have passed and still now you cannot do the transfer of ownership. The question that begs to mind is, are the buyers the real owners of those properties? Or are there other faces behind them? That's why when Council asks about the money, and then I was going to say that whether Mr. Barry was only after the money and not trying to know the identity of people coming to buy. Because if indeed the buyers are the owners of the properties, and as you've rightly placed it, they should make sure that their interest is served. What is stopping them from ensuring that the transfer is complete?
I believe it is the trust that they have in government.
It's not small money. And you've really demonstrated the time value of money. That is, you would have been getting returns. So, having trust in government is not the issue. I think government is one entity that nobody wants to do business with. Once you do it with them, you want it to be finished as a businessman. Not so. Would you trust government to be selling to them on credit basis? Would you? As a businessman, Mr. Barry? Will you?
No.
No, that is it. Because they are very bad.
I trust my government.
No. What I'm telling you here is, no. Every businessman, I'm part of government. But I'll tell you, every businessman, when you transact with government, you want it to be finished within a short window of time. So the notion that they have trust in government, I think that one is for convenience.
No. I think if they believe that if they don't do the transfer, they will lose it, I think it's showing really trust in the government, which I believe is a good thing.
And can I tell you the other side of the coin? People are doubting the fact that the buyers are the owners. Back to you, Council.
In terms of interacting with this process, the buyers, most of the transfers have been done actually.
Okay, we'll see to that, Mr.
Most of the transfers have been done. I mean, this exercise really, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay.
Because I was deeply involved, and I'm not saying I know all the buyers, but to say that some were stepping into other people's shoes, because nobody expected that like this committee was going to happen. So ordinarily, I'm sure if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, you would have seen me selling myself all kind of properties. You would have seen all my associates. So in terms of really the buyers, the ones that I've interacted with, it's possible that some of them, they bought it with the view of selling it after. That's a possibility. But really, I'm comfortable with the process and also with the buyers.
Very well, that's okay. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Council.
Sure.
Back to you.
Mr. Barry, is the property handed over to the buyer?
Yes, all the properties would have been handed over to the buyer.
This
And they are responsible.
This current one is with the buyer?
Yes, with the buyer.
Yes, Chair. One last issue, Mr. Barry, is the part of your report that is contains a list of the returned properties. It is returned properties to original owners at cost.
I guess maybe at cost is misleading. It's returned to the owners at the price that the former president acquired them for. So we were trying to find a proper way of describing it.
And then time value of money was not considered here.
In that case.
For these properties?
For those properties, no.
No. But you just mentioned that if government is cancelling sale, it should consider time value of money. So that applies to government, but does not apply to the other way around. It's like a one-way street.
I was given instructions to give it at that. I was not told to give it based on time value of money.
I see.
I see. You really don't want me to leave today,
Mr. Barry, why are you running away from the assembly?
You know, Council, we should just change seats for 1 hour, then you'll appreciate it.
The seats are the same. We're sitting on the same
Yeah,
seats.
but the position is different.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So not to spend too much time on these properties because they're only 4. What about Bakau Newtown? So all these guide prices you listed here was basically just the price the former president acquired these properties for.
So we didn't want to leave it blank.
Okay.
So we just said, let's put it there also for help us for comparison.
But when you received instructions, it was clear that these properties, the former president bought them through either the sheriff or through the bank.
Through the bank, but in a cohesive manner. So they would have written to the task force, and they would sit and then agree, and if they agree, then they will ask me to go ahead and conclude the negotiations.
Okay. So for the first one, Bakau Newtown, was this Mr. Momoduba? Did he buy it during the phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3?
No,
during which phase, or was this the first thing that was done when you were appointed?
No. It was during the process.
Process of?
The disposal. I think either after, it must be, for example, Hagan Street, that was during phase 1. So I guess after that, that's when the others also saw that
But
there's a
Hagan
window.
is not listed here as return to original owner.
No, 78B should be there.
It's not. So what we have listed here is Bakau Newtown, 2 million to Momoduba. Second one is Fajara South Atlantic, 3.150 million to Babakar Somposise. 3 is Barra Coconut Plantation, $1,050,000 to Mr. Serindur. And number 214 Paradise Estate to Miss Ali Masala. Even
it's in the updated report.
okay.
Yeah, this is the last one there, 7th October 2019, 78B Daniel Goddard Street.
And when you were receiving instructions from the Attorney General at the time, you were told to sell it at the value, at the price the former president obtained.
Yes. And unless there is some improvement.
Were there any improvements in these properties?
I think 78B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paradise Estate. It was sold below what the former president, below the guide price.
No, the guide price was not that's the valuation price. So it should be the amount that the person paid is what the president paid. So the guide price there is wrong. It should have just been the same amount. In fact, in the revised report, we just removed all the guide prices.
Mm.
Shall I show that to you?
Yes, please.
So, yeah. Just show this.
Okay. So in this document, you remove the guide price.
Yes, because it really doesn't make sense to have guide prices there.
But in the second value, in the valuations that you did or had contracted someone to do for phase 2 and phase 3, this property was part of it? Was this property valued?
Yes.
Okay. And the 3.675 is the valuation price? Or is it the
No.
4.270?
4.27.
So when it was being sold below the valuation price, the Attorney General was informed?
Yes, I mean, it was on the market to be sold, but he said, no, can you stop? Because I've got like a petition about this property.
Okay.
After the valuation was done. Yeah.
And when payments were being made for this property, was it made to you or when you were asked to stop? You
No, we
withdrew from the process entirely?
We withdrew that particular one. We withdrew it, and then payment was made based on the returned value.
Payment was made to who?
To the receiver, to the receiver's account.
But I thought you said you were asked to withdraw from the process.
Withdraw from selling it.
Selling it to the public?
Yes.
But you were to sell to Miss Ali Masala?
Yeah.
Interesting. Honorable Chair. Sorry. No. You can come in, please.
Thank you, Council. Mr. Barry, was there any baseline in trying to determine who should qualify for these return properties?
I know that the task force would hear those people whose property they believe were acquired either forcefully or unlawfully by the former president. And they're usually required to explain. And then the committee would sit and agree. And I don't think they agreed to all of the petitions that they received.
Okay, and all of these 5 people went through that process?
Oh yes, I mean there's nothing I would do without authority. Because
Yeah.
I don't forget, at the end of the day, the Solicitor General will need to sign the lease or the assignment. So before he would do that, he would of course ask for all the right documents.
After reading the report, of particular interest to me is number 2, that is the property at Fajara South Atlantic. Can you tell us the story behind that one? And why did it qualify to be returned?
Would you think I'm the right person to, because I did not authorize for the return.
No,
So I think it's only fair that the task force justify that decision. I was only there to execute.
yes, Mr. Barry, you said you would not do anything without authority. Okay, so we are not putting the authority on you, but the authority that was given to you to act, the basis on which it was premised on, is what we are asking you to explain.
No, they wouldn't give me any. They wouldn't give me any justification.
They wouldn't.
No, they will tell me, return this property to such and such person and negotiate the price based on what the president had paid.
Do you know the story behind this property, or you don't?
I know that it was mortgaged to Ajib, and Ajib sold it to the former president. I think that's the, and it's believed that he bought it less than the market value.
So
that is what I believe is the story behind it.
good. So according to your explanation, the property was mortgaged to the bank, and the owner defaulted in his payments, and the bank sold the property to the former president. Put everything on Yahya Jammeh, but in this case, did he acquire this particular property forcefully?
You see, that's why I didn't want to.
No, I'm just. We know this story.
Yeah, so it's better really.
No.
The person or the group that, I'm sure they have their rationale in approving. So okay. I believe.
You know, Mr. Barry, you also have some degree of responsibility.
Honorable.
You have, no, allow me, you have the stewardship responsibility of these properties. Even though decision will be taken at some level, but at the end of the day, I was going to ask you, after verifying this story, did you at any point try to advise the Ministerial Task Force Committee? You're taking the decision at wholesale and implementing it to the latter.
Honorable, if you recall, I said that I'm not giving any reason as to why they decide as to who they return the assets. They don't explain to me.
Okay, but then now I will take you back to your response. Now wait, unless and until you don't want to go home. You were saying Aji doesn't want to allow you go home, but now it is yourself.
No, now it is you.
Okay, no problem. Once the answers come and they are verifiable, we'll go. Mr. Barry, you said clearly that the reasons for the returned properties are based on the fact that either the properties are forcefully taken or illegally acquired by the former president. Here is a situation where the former president purchased a property from a bank that was mortgaged by the owner. No force was applied, and he didn't purchase it illegally. In fact, he has no interaction with the owner of the property. So now the question that begs to mind is, should that property be returned to the owner? Because the owner in this case is no longer the previous owner. It should have been the bank. Or should it be opened for competitive bidding? We are not saying that that previous owner who mortgaged it to the bank does not have the right to come and bid. We are saying, the question we are asking is he eligible to have a returned property? Since his property was not forcefully taken from him and it was not illegally acquired by the former president. Can you help us understand, Mr. Barry?
Honorable, really, I believe you have invited some of the task force ministers. I am sure they have explained their position.
Very well, Chair. Mr. Barry, we'll take the response for you. And then, Honorable Chair, this is one issue that we'll pick up with the task force, and the ministers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Council. I think you're done now.
Yes, I am, Honorable Chair. But, sorry, Honorable Chair, I just want to make one request that should the committee or if the legal team or the investigators have any more questions, that Mr. Barry should be available for maybe a quick question and answer session, perhaps on the record, but not a public hearing like this.
So you mean it will be the last time for Mr. Barry to appear before the committee?
We don't want to definitely say no.
Okay.
But we might have other issues.
I was thinking we'll have him once more again.
Maybe on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. I was thinking Friday. Mr. Barry, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a long day, and thank you for helping this committee to unearth some of the facts regarding the disposals of assets of the former president. And of course, like we said, this is not witch hunting. This is basically to find facts. And I know you've been very supportive to the committee. You have tried your best to provide us the information that we need. I'm not saying all. You have tried your best to provide information, and you're still supposed to provide information to us. And next of this time, the timeline is Wednesday.
No, actually, I've delivered to Aji already.
All that was requested.
What's left now is Honorable Fofana's request in terms of the payments into the account, who paid and when, and the website, Honorable Jammeh, when it was down, when it came up, so the dates, yeah.
So for Honorable Fofana's request,
and in addition, Chair, the host of the website.
Okay.
Who is hosting the website?
Yes.
So anyway, Mr. Chair, I would really like to thank you and your team.
Yes, but before you go there, the request from Honorable Fofana is 30 minutes. That one, Mr. Barry, no provide that. We have gone past 30 minutes now.
No. Actually, I did say give me till tomorrow.
Okay, you said tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you time, but then I'll give you time until Wednesday, latest, to provide all this information. Okay. Now I've extended it for you to Wednesday instead of tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Yes, you have anything to say?
What I was saying is just to thank you for the opportunity. I must say I found it very, very stressful to appear in public. By nature, I'm a private person. But what you've done, you've accorded me the opportunity. Because a lot of people thought I sold all the cattle. A lot of people thought I sold all the tractors. A lot of people thought I sold all the cars. Some people just wanted to put everything on my head. But during your process, you've identified who has done what. And you cannot appreciate what that has done for me. So I would really like to thank you, and I will continue to cooperate with whatever information that is required. And I'm working very closely with the auditors. I mean, we are now at the stage of doing reconciliation. But for me, it was a privilege to do the exercise. And I must say, I was quite happy with what was achieved. And I would like to thank, the government for affording me the opportunity. That we do have people that can do work in this country that sometimes we bring foreigners for. But anyway, the bottom line, I would like to say thank you very much for clarifying, for people to understand what I was responsible for, and I did not buy herds of cattle, and I ensured myself and my team not a single asset did we buy in our name or through a third party. We were just not interested in that. And I'm sure your investigators have seen that, because they went through who has bought what, etc., etc., etc. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. So we should say Mr. Barry was responsible for all the properties that have been sold, the properties on record.
I've got a list of everything that was sold.
Not all the properties as well.
No. We just sold about 37 properties.
Yes,
there are
I
200
understand.
properties.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to still make it clear that not all the properties.
Yes.
Some of the properties.
Just the landed properties.
Landed properties.
But the cattle, the tractors, some people said that I was selling the properties at night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Barry. Thank you for being with us. Honorable members, that brings us to the end of today. And we will adjourn session today for tomorrow, until tomorrow on the 11th of November 2025 for continuation with another witness. Mr. Barry, thank you.